Hi guys, it's Devin, and today I am going to do another tutorial using my Tarte for True Blood palette. This look I actually went into intentionally trying to make it a Pam inspired look. The other two I didn't intentionally try to make them look like any of the characters. My friend Katie Doll 09, she would tell me like after each look who she thought it reminded her of. So I intentionally went into this one with the thought that I wanted to make it more of a Pam inspired look. Now Pam does a couple of different looks that I've really noticed. She does kind of a like a red lip and a real dramatic eye, which is obviously the one I've chosen to do today, and she also does more of like a pinky nude lip and kind of a less dramatic eye, but I did choose the more dramatic look today. I hope you guys aren't getting tired of seeing these tutorials with this palette, but I really wanted to show you guys as many looks as I possibly could because the palette is limited edition, and after the end of September I don't think they're going to be selling it anymore. And I don't think it's given enough love out in our community, in the beauty community of YouTube. I mean, I've seen a lot of, hauls where they're going over the palette, but as far as tutorials, I've seen a lot of tutorials using other products in place of the actual palette. But I think if someone, I think if you are trying to decide whether or not you want to get the palette, you actually want to see the palette used. You don't want to see a dupe for the colors in the palette. Whereas I don't think there's a lot of really good tutorials out there that are actually using the palette. I've only seen a few other than my own that actually use the Tarte for True Blood palette. I've seen quite a few that use other looks, like other brands, like more affordable drugstore brands, to recreate the face charts for this palette. So if you're looking for a more affordable way to get looks from this palette, I mean, those are definitely out there. But I just really want to focus on using the actual palette to show you actual looks you can get from the palette, because I really think this palette is just an all-around great palette. I mean, you seriously can gain just about any kind of look that you want to from these colors in this palette. So I started off, I'm sampling a couple of things from Lancome. It's some Labos Pro primer, and the I don't know how you say it, Tint Miracle, whatever, foundation in Buff. I've already put that on. I used my Laura Geller Real Deal Coverage Concealer in the color Light, and I went over it with my Smashbox Halo Perfecting Powder. I've already done both of my brows with my Lancome brow pencil that you guys have seen me use before, and I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to, again, as usual, use the primer that comes with the palette, the Lifted Eye Primer. I said that this primer doesn't really work that great for me, and it doesn't. I'm not going anywhere today, so it's not a big deal, but this primer creases on me fairly fast. I've heard from a couple other people that it does the same with them. And you want to put this all over your lid. I think for me, this primer works just like Urban Decay Primer Potion. And if Urban Decay Primer Potion works for you, then this primer will probably work for you. I think I've said that, but Urban Decay Primer Potion doesn't work for a really long time for me either. So the Too Faced Shadow Insurance is what works the best for me. I'm going to take, of course, my Real Techniques brush. Like, I'm sure you're so tired of hearing that, so I'm not even going to say that anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and take the mascara and the eyeliner out of the bottom and close it, because I am going to use them. And then I'm going to go in with this color right here. This is probably one of my favorite colors from the palette. It's just a really pretty shimmery pinkish color. I'm going to go in with that, and then I'm going to tap that off, because you don't want to get a lot of color, and you want to take this like all over the lid up into the crease. You don't want a whole lot of color with this, but you do want it to, you do want a little bit of the actual pinkish color, because I think it goes really, really good with the gorgeous navy blue that we're fixing to use. So there's that. And then I'm going to go in, oops, sorry, didn't mean to shake y'all there. I'm going to go in with this gorgeous navy, and this navy actually has like blue sparkles in it. It's gorgeous. It comes off looking inside, it comes off looking a little black, and probably on camera it's going to look a little black, but in all reality, when you go outside into natural daylight, it is going to be, it's obvious that it's a dark navy blue. So I'm really going to concentrate, like I did on this other eye, I'm really going to concentrate this into this outer corner. And you know, I don't really, like, there's, you know, I've said before, there's really no rhyme or reason to what I do. I just do, you know, just the basic. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and preach to you to make sure that you make it look one way and make it a V, an outer V, or whatever. Whatever works with your eye shape is what you need to do, because a lot of times a V doesn't work for your eye. Like my eye is not V-shaped at the end, okay? So, like, I get, you know, I know there's something flying around me. I know that it, you know, it does make a V shape if you do it like that. I don't necessarily do it like that, and I'm not going to preach to anybody else to do it like that. I just do it to conform to my eye shape. So you want to wipe that brush off because you don't want any extra, and then you just want to start like blending that out and up. You want it to come pretty far up, not all the way up to the brow, but you do want to smoke it out and have it come pretty far up. Awkward moment of silence. Okay, now what you want to do, I'm just going to tap a little bit extra because I didn't get it quite as dark as I wanted to up here. There we go. There we go. Okay, now what you want to do is go back in with the flat brush, whatever one that you choose to pat the color on with, and you want to go in with this middle top color right here, which is kind of like a pinky highlighter color. It's really pretty, and it does have some shimmer, but not a ton of shimmer. You just want to lightly touch that onto your brush and even like tap it off. And then you want to go in over here at the top and just kind of blend down into that darker color. And then take just a tad bit more and get it into the inner corner and take it up. That way it's not quite as obvious, like the cutoff part of the navy blue isn't quite as obvious. So you want to go ahead and take that up in there. And then this is probably the most time consuming part of the look. Where did it go? Like it rolled away. Oh, there it is. And it's the eyeliner. This one I'm actually going to do a cat eye, and for me that was the hardest part. Like when I was learning how to do makeup or whatever, teaching myself, what looks best on me, the hardest thing for me to get was a cat eye. And I watched numerous tutorials from very, very talented gurus, very, ones that are famous gurus that are fantastic makeup artists, and there's always a different way. There's always, wing it out this way, wing it out that way. The best way that I found for me, and it's really all about time and practice. If you can't get it right away, do not worry about it, because it takes a while to get. I mean, seriously, even to this day, it's never going to be perfect. The eyes hardly ever match. But what I'm going to do first is just go as close to my lash line as I can. Just all the way across. Because I tend to do my wing last. And as I've said with this gel liner, you need to go in, and if you're planning on smudging it, you need to do that like immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and smudge what I just did. Try to smudge it a little bit more into the lash line. And if you can't get it all the way into there, that's fine, because we're going to go over it later anyway with the navy blue. So that's fine. Just smudge it out the best you can. And then, I'm going to do the wing, but I'm also going to connect it at the bottom. So what I do with the wing is I start right here at the corner of your eye, where your bottom and your top eye meet. That's where I go. And with this one, I chose to go out and up a little bit. Not necessarily, you can do it either way you want to, but not necessarily up as much as out. And I just brought it out to meet the eyeshadow right there. And then you just take it back in as thick of a line as you want. You can make it as thick as you want, as dark as you want, whatever. And then just take it into that and fill it in. And I know that probably just looked really simple, but trust me guys, it has not been that simple for me always. Even now, 90% of the time I don't fool with it. And you can see, they don't even match right now, because one of them is up a little bit higher than the other. This one's over and this one's up a little bit more. You want to try to make them match as much as you possibly can. But to be perfectly honest, you're going to drive yourself freaking bananas if you try to make them perfect, because they are never going to match perfectly. And if somebody tells you they're going to, they're full of shit, because they're just not ever going to match perfectly. And then with this particular one, you can leave it like this if you want to. With this particular look, I am going to connect this down here to the lower lash line as well. And take that in all the way through. You probably have noticed that I never take anything into my tear duct, which a lot of people do. For a lot of looks, that's necessary. And then I'm going to go in and smudge this out, because like I said, you have to smudge as quick as possible with this, because when it sets, it sets. I never go in all the way to my tear duct for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I find that it really irritates my eyes if I do go all the way into my tear duct. And number two, I'm always I'm so self-conscious about eye boogers. I don't know why, but I am. And I'm always going right here in my inner eye and wiping anyway, so I just wipe it out, and it's really pointless. Okay, so you've got the basic line of what you want right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with that gorgeous blue color, from the palette, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just going to smudge that into the eyeliner and down a little bit. This really accentuates the navy blue eyeshadow. This really accentuates it where you've put it in the crease as well. So, and then I'm just going to take that right on up here and smudge the blue into this top line as well. And if you notice, I do have some fallout from that, and I am going to clean that up with some under eye concealer. Okay, so you've got that going on. You've got that basically done. I want to smudge the top line a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go in and line my upper and lower waterline with Urban Decay 24/7 liner in 0. And again, there are a lot of different ways to do this. You just have to figure out what works best for you. This method works best for me, just closing my eye and running it along the top, because I wear contacts, so it's really a pain in the ass for me to have to try to lift my eyelid up and do all that jazz, and it always ends up running across the top of my contact lens and making my eye water, and then, you know, there you go. So that never really works out for me. Okay, so I'm going to put my mascara on, and again, I'm going to use the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes that comes with the kit. I'm almost out of this little mini size, but that's fine because I have at least 2 normal size backups ready. And I'm going to put 2 coats on the top layer. I'm not going to put any on the bottom, because I have like major issues with any mascara that I use. It doesn't matter which one. It always ends up, by the end of the day, I always end up having some transfer under my eyes, and I can't even deal with that. So I'm trying this new thing where I don't put any mascara on my lower lashes. And I know that you're supposed to. It helps open your eye, yada yada fucking yada, whatever. Do whatever works for you. If you're getting annoyed at the fact that you have transfer at the end of the day, quit wearing it on your lower lashes. You know, if you're taking the time to do your makeup and you're taking your time to do your eyes, they're still going to look nice with or without the mascara on the bottom lash. So put 2 coats of that on, and then I'm going to go in with my YSL Touche Claw. You can see the fallout right here, but I'm going to try to wipe that off a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with my favorite under eye and best under eye concealer in the world. I highly recommend this stuff. It's the only thing that I've ever tried, and I've tried a lot, that doesn't crease under my eye, and it just brightens it up. It doesn't cake over, like if you have makeup already under your eye. You can do this 3 or 4 times a day if you need to. It doesn't cake. It doesn't cake up and look funky. Ooh. As long as you don't drag the makeup down with it, it looks great. Okay, so got that done. And that is the finished eye. You can see where you can see just a little bit of that pink down here poking through, but the majority of it is that navy blue and the highlight blended out. I love this look. I think this is a really great look, especially for nighttime. For me, it's wearable during the day, but it's always your own decision. And then I'm going to just go over with the brush that I used to apply my Smashbox powder, and I'm just going to tap that to set that concealer. That's not a necessary step with this concealer, but with most concealers it is. So I've just developed a habit of doing it. I'm not going to put any blush on because Pam, I noticed, you know, obviously she's a vampire. She's probably not going to wear much blush, but I've noticed that she always has a really strong contour, just a little bitty contour right here. So I'm going to use the contour brush from Real Techniques, and I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. My favorite powder bronzer ever. It totally replaced my Physicians Formula bronze booster. And you want to go right underneath your cheekbone, right here. Just the top part. You don't want to take it, I mean, you know, sometimes you can take it all the way down. I don't particularly care for that look of taking it all the way down here. I just, you know, like to keep it in the actual contour of the cheek. And then I'm going to go in on the other side and do the same thing right here. Just taking it probably midway. My skin is not in the best condition right now. I was trying to put off doing this tutorial until it got better, but it just doesn't seem to be getting any better, so there you go. And I wanted to get as many looks up with this kit as possible before the end of September because, like I said, I think they're going to quit selling it the end of September. So there's that. Just really subtle, not really much, you know, not really much there, just a really subtle contour. I'm going to go ahead and do some up here as well because I just like the look of that. You always want to like blend it into your hairline. You don't want to have like a sharp look. You want it to look natural. So I always blend it into my hairline and just kind of fluff it around so it looks natural. As natural as it can anyway. Okay, and then for the lips. I'm going to just go ahead and use the Tarte for True Blood Lip Surgeon's Natural Lip Tint. This is a lot more sparkly and a lot creamier than I think Pam's lips are when I see her do her red look, and it actually